Premiere Pro features the industry's best tapeless workflow, working natively with many different types of cameras. Everything from, on the low end, cameras such as the flip video camera, all the way up to the Red 1 shooting at a full 4000 by 2000 pixels. So everything from standard definition webcams all the way up to the full 4K resolution. We're continuing to add to this native workflow format and tapeless workflow format by adding additional formats inside of Premiere Pro CS5. Just a few examples here. I'll go ahead and open up the new sequence panel just so you can see some of the new presets that we have added in this release. These are all the sequence presets that come included with Premiere Pro. So now formats such as the Red format, which used to require a plugin, now works natively inside of Premiere Pro. We've also added XDCam HD 422. This is the 50 megabit per second XDCam format, so we can now work natively with this footage as well. And again, if you have any questions, you can see exactly what these formats are just by reading the preset descriptions. In addition, we're also starting to support digital SLR cameras. Cameras such as the Nikon D90 and the Canon 5D Mark II, we now have presets for these cameras as well. So as an example, if I want to work with some footage that I have from the Canon 5D, all I have to do is create and work with one of these presets, create a new timeline, and I'm now editing natively for this particular camera format. So once I've created a timeline, if I drag and drop my footage on the timeline, you'll see that this footage plays back and it runs natively, it runs very smoothly right on the timeline. If I want to go through and create and mix and match different formats, I can definitely do that on a single timeline. Just because I've selected a timeline to work with doesn't mean that I'm limited to footage from that particular format. So for example here, if I have a DVC Pro file, I can go ahead and drag that and drop it right on the same timeline and even mix and match the two. I'll take this, this clip here, move it up on the timeline to a different layer. And you can see that this is actually acting as kind of a picture-in-picture because I have a 1920 by 1080 timeline, and this particular clip is a different resolution. If I want to change that, I can just go in and choose to scale this to the frame size, and that's also something that I can do with, have that done automatically as I'm dragging and dropping clips on the timeline. We're also supporting AVC Intra, so here I have got an AVC Intra clip. I can go ahead and drag that on the timeline as well. And we also support Red natively, so I can go ahead and take a Red file and drag and drop this one on the timeline. Now this particular file is actually a higher resolution, so if I go through and I start to scrub through this particular clip, you'll see that it's kind of cutting off and I'm getting some interesting framing there. Again, all I have to do is choose to scale this to the frame size, and now it fits perfectly, letterbox top and bottom, to fit within my 1920 by 1080 frame. Premiere Pro now also works with DPX sequences. DPX sequences typically are used in higher end production. After Effects has had support for DPX sequences for many years. We now have both input and output support for DPX sequences inside of Premiere Pro. So I can also take this DPX sequence that I have and drag and drop that right on my timeline. If I just zoom in here a little bit, scroll over just a hair, you can see here this is kind of a short DPX sequence, but again I can come through here and I can actually play this back and have it within my project as well. So with Premiere Pro, we're really trying to focus on supporting all of these file formats natively, being able to drag and drop and mix and match formats from any of these different file formats on a single timeline, but you can still choose a timeline to work with, because that sets your resolution, sets your frame rate, and everything else will conform to that during playback. So, hope you enjoy the new expanded tapeless workflows inside of Premiere Pro.